Dog Man. Friggin' crime fighting in your city. He has the qualities of both dog and man. This goofy children's book series by renowned author Dave Pilkey has held a special place in the hearts of kids around the world. But you know what else he is? A tragic hero. Wait, tragic hero? How can a children's book character be a tragic hero? That's like saying Garfield is a metaphor for capitalism. Actually, you know what? We'll save that one for later. But hear me out. There's another, much older story that also features a tragic hero, one that has echoed through centuries and defined the very concept of fate and self-destruction. Enter Oedipus Rex. Sophocles' legendary Greek tragedy, written around 430 BC, is the ultimate story about identity, fate, and self-discovery. And, believe it or not, these important themes are also present in Dog Man. So, how does a goofy children's book compare to a foundational tragedy? Let's talk about it. Pause. Before we can even continue, let's quickly break down what each of these stories is actually about. Dog Man is a graphic novel series by Dave Pilkey about a police officer who, after a tragic accident, has his head replaced with that of a dog. Now he has to balance his human duties as a cop with his dog instincts. It's hilarious, but also explores some surprisingly deep themes. Meanwhile, Oedipus Rex is a Greek tragedy written by Sophocles. It tells the story of Oedipus, a man who tries to escape a prophecy that he will kill his father and marry his mother. But no matter what he does, fate drags him straight into fulfilling it. At first glance, these seem like polar opposites. One is a silly, action-packed kids' book. The other is a tragic play about fate, shame, and self-destruction. But both revolve around a single, powerful theme: identity.
You playing Minecraft? I like your cut, G.
Let's get serious real quick. Both Dog Man and Oedipus are figures of authority who struggle with their own identities. They are seen as leaders, yet their very nature is questioned, by others, by society, and even by themselves. The most obvious similarity between Dog Man and Oedipus is their existential crisis. They both struggle with who they really are, and how they fit into the world around them. Dog Man is part man, part dog. He was created when police Officer Knight was mortally wounded in an explosion, and the doctors decided to sew his head onto his dog's body, creating a bizarre hybrid. But this raises a huge question. Is he still a man? He retains his human responsibilities, fighting crime, enforcing justice, but his canine instincts constantly get in the way. He's an officer of the law who still chases squirrels, wags his tail uncontrollably, and chews furniture. Oedipus also struggles with his true origins. He was raised as a prince in Corinth, believing he was the son of King Polybus and Queen Merope. But deep down, he's always felt a sense of doubt. When he hears a prophecy that he will kill his father and marry his mother, he flees Corinth, not realizing his true parents are in Thebes. His entire sense of self is based on a lie. Dog Man wonders if he is a real police officer or just a dog pretending to be one. Oedipus wonders if he is a noble ruler or something far worse. Both are trapped in an identity crisis, trying to prove their worth while struggling with the truth of their nature. Even though both Dog Man and Oedipus hold positions of power, people don't fully trust them. Dog Man's authority is constantly undermined. The other cops mock him behind his back. Chief likes him, but even he gets frustrated with Dog Man's antics. The villains, especially Petey the cat, see him as a joke. Even his own instincts betray him. He'll be in the middle of a mission, only to get distracted by a frisbee. At one point, he gets demoted from the police force because the mayor doesn't believe he's fit for duty.
You're fired.
He's seen as a novelty, not a true officer. Oedipus' authority is based on lies. He is loved by the people of Thebes, but his power is built on a false foundation. He believes he is their rightful king, but the truth is, he is the son of the previous king, Laius, whom he unknowingly killed. Like Dog Man, his authority is questioned, but in a more tragic way. He has built his entire identity around his kingship, yet he has no legitimate claim to the throne. While Dog Man slowly earns respect over time, Oedipus' respect crumbles the more he learns about himself. One of the most crucial parts of both stories is the journey for self-discovery. Dog Man is constantly trying to prove himself as an officer. He doesn't just accept being half dog, half man, he has to figure out what that means. Over time, he learns to use his dog traits to his advantage: tracking sense, heightened agility, unwavering loyalty. Instead of rejecting his nature, he adapts. Oedipus, however, is obsessed with finding the truth about his past. When a plague strikes Thebes, he demands to know why. He learns that the plague was sent because the murderer of King Laius is still in the city. He vows to hunt down the killer, not realizing that the killer is him. His pursuit of the truth is relentless, and ultimately leads to his downfall. Dog Man's journey is about accepting his identity and thriving. Oedipus' journey is about rejecting his identity, and being destroyed by it. And that leads us into the biggest difference between them. Dog Man starts off confused and uncertain, but over time, he learns to embrace who he is. He might not be a perfect cop, but he has strengths no human officer does. He stops trying to suppress his dog instincts and instead integrates them into his police work. His heightened senses make him a better tracker. His loyalty makes him the most dependable officer. His goofy, pure-hearted nature wins over even his enemies. By the end of the series, he isn't just a dog in a uniform. He's a true hero. He learns to exist as both dog and man, instead of choosing one over the other. Oedipus takes the opposite route. Instead of accepting his fate, he fights against it. When he finally discovers the truth, that he is the murderer he's been hunting, he doesn't embrace it. He rages, denies, and ultimately breaks down. His response? Self-destruction. He blinds himself as punishment for not seeing the truth. He exiles himself from Thebes, dooming himself to a life of suffering. Instead of finding a way to live with his identity, Oedipus erases himself entirely. At the core of both stories is a question of identity. Are we defined by what we are, or what we do? Is identity something we control, or something that controls us? Dog Man finds a way to embrace his true self and thrive. Oedipus, trapped by fate and shame, cannot. And that's the wildest thing about all of this. Sometimes, a children's book about a half-dog cop has just as much to say about identity as a 2,500-year-old tragedy. So next time someone tells you Dog Man is just a kid's book, just hit them with a, yeah, and it's also Oedipus Rex. But identity is just one part of the puzzle. Because when you look deeper, both of these stories raise an even bigger question. Does Dog Man truly understand himself, or is he blind to his own nature? Does Oedipus see the truth, or is he doomed by his own inability to recognize it? And that's where part 2 comes in. My partner, Kenji Zhu, is going to take this conversation further, diving into the battle between blindness and sight through the anime Dororo. Because if identity is about who we are, then blindness and sight are about whether we truly understand ourselves or if we're just stumbling in the dark.